Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be doing something a bit more detailed, something a bit more demonstrational. We are going to be talking about how to layer your skincare to get the best out of all the different ingredients. Before we start this video, I'd recommend you guys to like, because I'm giving you everything. I mean, this look, this background, this moment, I'm a God-fearing woman. Why not? And if you're new to my channel, do not forget to subscribe before you leave, because rude. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, I think where a lot of people struggle, in my experience from when I've spoken to people, I feel like a lot of people struggle when it comes to understanding how to build a routine, understanding that you don't necessarily just need to use one product in your routine, that you can actually layer to be able to use various different products that have various different ingredients, whereby you can actually get the benefit of all those different products and all the different ingredients they contain. At the same time, having caution and having knowledge of all those different ingredients and realizing that you can't necessarily always mix everything together when it comes to skincare. So what I want to show you guys how to layer your skincare, whether it be for morning or whether it be for night, so that you can really maximize on your routine, so you can really get the best out of the products that you're using and really make your skin look and feel amazing. So the rule of thumb when it comes to layering skincare is to layer them in order of weight or thickness, for example, if that makes sense. So you're always going to start with your water-based products first, and then you're going to work your way up to your like really thick night packs or treatment packs, that kind of thing. So in the morning, what I would do typically is I'd use a cleanser. This is the Pixi Vitamin C Juice Cleanser, and right now the products that I am going to show you are in my current routine. There are some products that I am trialing in this routine which I really enjoy, and so I wanted to make it as realistic for you guys as possible, because this is a routine that I feel I've really perfected at this point. This is the first thing I put on my skin as soon as I get out of the shower. Now bear in mind, for me myself, I do not wash my face in the mornings. I wash my face purely at the night. I've spoken about this before, but it's purely because I want to take advantage of the natural oils in my skin, especially when I wake up. I don't want to wash everything off. I want to clean my face, but I don't want to strip my face of all the natural oils. I would implore you guys to do the same too, because I feel like any opportunity that we have to really retain the moisture and the oil in our skin, we should really take that. And it also really does help me to cut the time that I take in the shower in the mornings before getting ready for work. This is the first thing that I'll typically put on my skin in the mornings, so it's really important for me that it's something that will really clean my skin and make me feel refreshed and hydrated, and I really feel like this cleanser from Pixi really does that. The next thing that I'll do is I will tone. Now I am really a fan of hydrating toner at the moment, so I will use this in the Lee Cock 10 toner. Now this has hyaluronic acid and aloe vera, so it is really helping to hydrate and plump the skin, really keeping the moisture and the natural oils just soaked in there. Now you can see in terms of thickness, they are kind of the same consistency, and eventually we are going to build. During the morning I have about 4 or 5 steps. I don't really have anything too excessive, but still it's important to be able to understand how to layer for both daytime and nighttime. Now the next product that I will use typically for the mornings is this First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream. Now this is a very thick cream, so during the daytime I don't layer it on as much as in the nighttime. I really like to powder this on during the nighttime, because I just love the way my skin feels when I'm going to bed. However, during the daytime, because I do have one more step after this, I like to just apply a small amount so that I still have moisture in my skin, but not so much so that I can't put anything on top and it won't penetrate. The last step of my morning routine is typically an SPF. I put this on after my moisturizer, which is why I don't like to put anything on that's too thick or too like intense. Now if you look at the texture of my SPF, it's basically like whittles down to nothing. I feel like this is a more water-based like kind of formula, and you can see the moisturizer a lot more thick, so I hope that will make sense for you. Typically I do this step and then this step. Now I'm not going to show you guys the consistency of these products. They're liquid products, you can hear them, so you pretty much know what they feel and look like. Now for the nighttime, my routine is basically the same with the exception of a few products. Typically as soon as I wash my face and get out of the shower, I would do these 2 steps first. One thing that I did not mention in my day routine, which I feel like I mentioned now, I typically use a cotton pad with this juice cleanser. However, I do not use it with this toner. I will literally mist this on. I'm going to show you guys how fine this mist is. I will typically mist this onto my skin, a very generous portion, and then I simply use my hands, clean hands of course, and I pat it into my skin. I do feel like sometimes the cotton pad really soaks up the moisture and you don't really get the most out of the product. I've been really using my hands a lot more in my routine, which is typically something I didn't do. And I've really seen the difference. I feel like my skin is always so plump. I feel like even though my skin does feel hydrated when I use a cotton pad, I just feel like I'm wasting some of the product, you know, when I wipe everything off, especially because this is a spray bottle and you have to spray it onto the pad. And sometimes I feel like when you spray something onto the pad, it doesn't really like absorb into it, it just sits on the surface. So I feel like when you then put it on your skin, it doesn't really like adhere either. I'd rather the pad be completely soaked so that when you put it on your face, it really does just get the product on there. Does that make sense? I didn't think so, no. After your toner and your cleanser, it's really great to try and get your serums on and any treatments on, you know, as quick as possible, because you really do want to kind of take advantage of the hydration and the level of like just moisture in your skin, because products really do soak into your skin better when your skin is wet. If you can imagine like when you're washing the dishes and you have a sponge, of course if you try to wash your dishes where the sponge is dry, it's not going to wash the dishes as great, but when you wet it, you can really see everything just soak in, and it's much easier to kind of just manipulate. So that is exactly what happens to the skin. So once I do that, I'll go in with a spot treatment. This is from Balance Me. This is my congested skin serum. It's my absolute favorite for when my skin is going through it. Now bear in mind, when you are using any kind of treatments on the skin, you do want to kind of let them sit, and you don't want to put anything on straight away, because you do want the spot treatment to kind of be allowed to just really penetrate into the skin and really work. So I would leave that on my skin for about 1 or 2 minutes whilst I get my other products ready. Now this is the perfect time to apply eye cream if you typically use one. I don't have an eye cream that I love and regularly use in my routine. I don't really think that eye creams are really essential for me. I've, you know, listened to a lot of dermatologists. Some say that you need it, some say that you don't. I don't really see the difference, you know, using eye creams. I'm 25 now, so particularly when I get to 35 or 45, they may become more of a necessity, but at this moment I just don't really feel like I need it. That is not discouraging any of you guys to use eye cream if you are seeing the benefits of any specific type of eye cream. At this point in the routine, this will be the perfect time to use one. It's always best to put on your eye cream before you kind of layer on any other products as soon as you've cleaned your skin. So the next step after that would be your serum. Serums are typically water-based and typically very runny. They are a tiny bit thicker in consistency in comparison to your cleansers and toners, as you can probably see here. It is dripping down fast, but not as fast as, for example, this toner or mist would be on the skin, because that's like pure water. This is what I typically apply next. As you can see, we are kind of upping the scale when it comes to thickness. She's thick, but we're not taking it all the way there yet. Like I said, you always want to apply serums to damp skin, because that is absolutely when you get the best from them. I would then go in with the First Aid Beauty cream again. I would apply a thick, generous layer of this, because like I always say, when you're going to bed is the best time to layer on your product to moisturize and hydrate your skin, because your skin is going to repair itself while you're sleeping. So it's really important that you give your skin the vital ingredients that it needs to really help and aid in this process. And when you wake up, your skin's going to look absolutely amazing if you do take a little bit of time out to really nurture and look after it before you do go to bed. This is the penultimate step, aka the second to last, and then the very last step would be a face oil. This is the Drunk Elephant Virgin Marula face oil. It's definitely not as light as the vitamin C serum. Let me show you guys. It's definitely not as light as the vitamin C serum. It doesn't run down as fast. That right there is the vitamin C serum, and that right there is the oil. You can definitely see that the vitamin C serum is running down a little bit faster because it is that little bit lighter. Even though in terms of consistency in liquids, this is thinner than this moisturizer, it is typically always best to apply a face oil last if you are using one. You absolutely do not have to include an oil in your routine. I like it for some nights. My skin, however, has been congested for the past 2 or 3 weeks, so I'm just literally getting my routine down to the basics: hydration, a little bit of exfoliation, some brightening, and just a basic cleaning. That's really what I'm focusing on at the moment. But an oil is an occlusive, so it's something which essentially traps everything underneath. You definitely don't want to go in with your oil as soon as you like cleanse your skin or anything like that. You always want to do it last, because anything that you put on top of this will not really penetrate the skin, you know, as great as it would if you put it on before, and you won't truly get the benefits of anything that you put on after a face oil, which is why I always use it last in my routine. You can always incorporate different things in your routine. Like I said, at the moment I'm focusing on the bare minimum, but sheet masks are something that you can incorporate as well. I believe sheet masks should always be the last step, because you kind of rub in the serum and everything. Sheet masks do also act as occlusive, so you always do want to use it as the last step. A treatment pack you could most definitely use after a moisturizer like this in place of an oil. I would say if you do use a treatment pack, I'm not too sure where they sit in terms of like occlusive and that kind of thing. I know you do get like treatment hydrating overnight masks that are more gel like the Laneige one, and then you get some of them which are more thick like the Origins one, but I would typically use a treatment mask after just a light layer of a moisturizer like this in place of an oil. My tips when it comes to layering skincare is always layer in order of thickness, of viscosity. The lightest thing always comes first and the thickest thing always comes last. The only exception is if you're using a very light face oil, which always comes last because it is an occlusive. Pay attention to where products sit in terms of the spectrum of like creams, oils, lotions, emollients, occlusives, and that might make it a bit easier for you. If you do know that a product that you have is an occlusive, then typically you should, you know, apply that last. If you do have like a basic moisturizer, cream, lotion, that can pretty much sit after your serums, that kind of thing. If it is a serum and it is a liquid consistency, pay attention to where that comes, and then the very light water formulas should kind of be first or second in the routine. I would encourage that. Another tip is to really pay attention to when you're using treatments that you do allow them enough time to really sit on the skin. Bear in mind that if you are using any kind of spot or face treatment, always use it after you've cleaned your skin. Don't like apply a spot treatment and then go with a cleanser, go with a toner, get a cotton pad, wipe it off. Treatments, spot treatments, brightening treatments, they should always be able to sit on the skin, because that's the only way that they're gonna work. Which is typically why I do have an issue with sheet masks and things like that claim that they brighten, that claim that they detoxify skin, that your skin will look like a million times younger, because in order for treatments like that to work, you do have to have them on your skin for a lot longer than 20 to 25 minutes, which is typically the recommended time for sheet masks, and they typically do dry out after about 40 minutes. Try using a sheet mask for about an hour and you will not have any moisture or product left. I do understand that the serum does kind of sit on your face, but in my personal opinion and from some of the research I've done, sheet masks do not really sit on the face long enough to really be able to give you really groundbreaking products. So just be really wary of those sheet masks that claim to like completely transform your skin. With the exception of like hydrating sheet masks, you're never going to get a sheet mask that is going to absolutely transform your skin. And if you are relying on sheet masks to transform your skin, I'd encourage you to kind of switch up your routine and invest in some different kind of products which will help to treat the concerns that you have with your skin. So guys, that marks the end of this video. I really hope you have enjoyed. If you have any questions in regard to anything that I've said below, if you want to correct me, I'm not a professional. I do a lot of research on skincare and this field and things like that, but I'm not by no means a professional. I'm always going to recommend professionals and estheticians, dermatologists before, you know, I have you guys like absolutely just take my word for everything. Always do your own research. I always do my own research when it comes to the products that I use, when it comes to advice that people give me. So I'd implore you guys to do the best. And of course, I will link all the estheticians and, you know, great people that I get this information from on Twitter and Instagram. There are black estheticians as well. That's something that's very important to me. So go and check those guys out. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give a like, drop a comment down below so we can have some conversation. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm always active on there all the time. My Instagram stories are amazing, if I do say so myself.
You know you're not paying their rent.
Subscribe to my channel if you're feeling this tracksuit vibe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.